We're live. Welcome back to episode 204 of the God and Guns podcast. I am your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about God, guns, and the responsible Christian gun owner's interest. On this show, we'll be talking and discussing about how to whip, or when we should start whipping the Quislings. We're going to stir it up tonight. Well, thank you for our bandwidth sponsor, Farms Radio Network. Appreciate them supporting us and putting all that good content out there for all these years.
Thank you, guys. Also, Crossbreed Holsters. If you are carrying a gun and you're not carrying a Crossbreed holster, shame on you. Most comfortable holster in the world. Check them out. Crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross.
Carry the cross. Excuse me. I'm still fighting this cough off.
Are you?
Yeah, it's been awful. We want to remember Patriot Patch Company. They are also very friendly to us. And I'm wearing one of their.
Oh, look at you.
It's
a new shirt.
Yeah, that's not new. It's one they gave me a while back, but I wear it often. It's getting sort of faded and broke in. Look, it's a little bit baggy now, but
starting to feel good.
Yeah, it's getting almost too big. It's getting a little hard to keep tucked in. It's so big. So I'm about to move down a size, maybe 2, before summer gets here. So want to remember those guys. They have some cool patches, and just you guys check them out if you haven't ever checked out Patriot Patch Company. You're wrong. So check them out. All right. So this week's God and Gun activities, Doug. What have you been up to?
Let's see. On the God side, I've been doing
my went to Crunch on Sunday.
I went to what? Oh. That's what happens when you type too fast.
You got fat thumbs, one or the other.
Yeah, that's it. Been doing my daily devotional, my Sportsman's Daily Devotional, and Words for Jesus for Men. Church on Sunday, had a good service. Gun side, haven't been doing a whole lot. Everyday carry, been doing that. And I've been trying to get my property ready for when you're out of move. And my brother's actually coming down
John,
the 20th. He's coming down March 20th. Him and Aaron's actually coming with him, his son, my nephew, and they're going to do the remodel on the shop that's out there. We're going to turn it into a
man cave.
Well, no, we're actually turning it into the brother-in-law suite instead of a mother-in-law suite.
Cool.
So they're going to do all the remodeling. He's going to be down here for, I think, about 11 days. They said they can knock it out and get it done. I was like, well, come on. So he's going to be down doing that. And, man, just trying to get stuff ready to start moving. We did buy us a tractor today, so that was a good thing.
After you sold all those tractors, you turned around and bought one, huh?
Well, I actually bought one of them that we didn't sell yet.
Oh, okay.
So we decided to keep it and just pay for it, and got a good deal on it. And we needed it. It's I got a Mahindra.
Yeah.
What is it? It's 36 horse size, something like that. I can't remember, but it's got a bucket loader on the front. It's got a disc, got a the tiller portion on the back of it, and a bush hog. So I got a little bit of everything in one. So we're probably going to need it to do some stuff. And I'm going to get with a couple pool companies here in town when they dig pools out this summer. Have them come out and dump me a few loads of dirt, and that's going to be the new berm for the firing range.
Well, my friends told me that they got the road department. Whenever they clean the ditches out, get all that dirt out, they brought that out there. He said it's full of trash and stuff, but he said he don't care. He's just going to sow it in grass and he's going to shoot into it, so he didn't really care what.
Exactly.
He said they in short time cleaning out the ditches and stuff in the springtime for all the rains and stuff. He said that they made him a really nice berm.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. They, the pool companies here, of course, they strip the topsoil off and move it off the side and keep that for when they level the ground back out. But then they get down in the red clay and dig that out, and they got to go dump it somewhere. So red clay packs really good and makes a very good backstop.
Yes, it does.
So that was me for this week, man. I just been back and forth over there all week.
I'm trying not to cough in y'all's ears, so let me turn my head. Okay, so church Sunday. I was on patrol this Sunday. I wasn't stuck in the room, but I was patrolling the parking lots, checking out the buildings, and just making sure everything was secure. And it was a uneventful Sunday. Served on Wednesday night as well because I'm going to be there Wednesday nights anyway because my kids are there, and I've got two great guys that are volunteered for Wednesday nights from here on out as far as time goes, and so they're alternating between the video room and patrol, and so we had three on duty. We had one on sort of standby, so we was well staffed on Wednesday night, which is good because it's dark and you can't see what, and that's usually where we have our troubles is Wednesday nights when we're feeding our people
Uh huh.
because people from around the area know that we feed our people, so they come in to get a free meal kind of thing. Which it's a two-edged sword. I want to feed people for the hungry, but if they're just eating our food because they don't want to spend their drug money on food, I have a little bit of trouble with that. But we always invite them to come to service and invite them to participate. Most of the time, they just leave. So, well, you never know. Somebody might turn around.
Never
So
know.
that was Sunday, Wednesday. As far as church was involved, this Sunday I am off, so I'm going to get to participate. Oh no, I don't think I am off. I have to look at my calendar again. I think I'm on this week. What is today? Today's the 9th.
Ninth.
Yeah, I think I'm off this Sunday. Okay, that'll be good. And then I'm on again then following Sunday. Something like that. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Catching up on my reading through the Bible in a year. I got about 2 weeks behind, so I had to get caught up. Been communicating with a lot of listeners lately. I've been getting a lot of requests for biblical advice and prayer requests. So that's taking some time this week on the God side. And of course, on the gun side, concealed carry. I took and passed the ham test, the tech portion, and the general both. I was surprised. I took the tech, and they said, "Do you want to take the ham? Take the general?" And I was like, because I was almost like the point before I got there, I wasn't going to take the general because I really didn't feel prepared. I'd read about half of the book on the general test, and I'd been listening to the audiobook and working on the general, and the test scores were scaring me a little bit. And so on the way there, I pretty much resigned myself just to take the tech and leave. Yeah, and I was assuming I would pass the tech, and I made a really really good score on the tech. And he said, "You need to take the general," because he said, you don't have anything to lose. And so I took the general, and it was easier. I don't know how to say this. There's certain questions on a test that are just easier than other questions on the test.
Mm-hmm.
And like on the technical test, it was like they picked all the hard questions that they could pick on the technical test. Like there's a possibility of like 435 different questions, and you get they give you 35 of them. So you out of the 435 possibles, you get 35 questions, one from each section of the test. And of each of the sections, every one of them was like the hardest one of that section for the tech part.
Uh huh.
But on the general, it was like the easiest questions, or 75% were like the easiest questions on the general part. So the tech test was really harder than the general for me. And
So
so
you passed both.
I passed both. And so
Congrats.
I'm going to go take the extra class test. I think April 10th, something like that.
So do you get your ham radio number now and all that good stuff?
No, it takes anywhere. He said it's been averaging about a week to 10 days to hear back from them by email, and then the paperwork stuff comes in the mail a little bit later. But he said that they've been getting them. They're pretty good. But the trouble is that they're sending it up to like Connecticut, and I think they've been like snowed out or blizzard or something for the last week. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if anybody even showed up to work this last week, or if the mail got delayed. Because I know I had some stuff that was supposed to be coming from Connecticut that did not get shipped until today, and it was supposed to ship like on Monday. So I'm thinking that the mail service was shut down and all that stuff for the last week. So it may be 2, 3 weeks before I see before I get my
Gotcha.
license back or my number and all that stuff. But I can go to their website and check and see if it's posted yet, or they're supposed to send me an email as soon as it's approved and processed. But I've been looking at ham radio equipment and all that stuff. My wife's like, "Don't go overboard."
Oh,
She wants to give
we
me a budget. I'm like, okay. I got a couple of Baofeng Chinese UHF VHF transceivers that I bought for like off of Amazon for like $25 a pop. I mean, they're so cheap now, and so I can't transmit or anything until I get my license in. But I've had those two forever, just because I was always planning on getting my license and kept putting it off. But it was exciting. It was the most nervous I've been in a while. And then I tell you, studying for the extra class is like a whole nother world. It's the detail and the more mathematics required and the more science that you have to know um, is way up there compared to the tech and the general. So I'm just doing it for a challenge for myself. You know, $15, and I I like to study and I like to read, and so this is like the third book, fourth, fifth book on ham stuff that I've read through, and I'm studying using the audio and the book now, going through on the extra, and then I'm doing one chapter a day. So,
cool.
and then I'm taking the practice test at the end of each chapter and seeing how I score. If I do bad, then I go back and reread it or review it or do some practice tests, practice questions and stuff like that. So another hobby, what I needed, right? so,
Exactly.
uh, so got the Bulwarks class coming up. Again, I got another Bulwarks class coming up called the Unarmed Close Quarters Combat Surviving the Fight Combo. It's going to be the 24th and 25th. So I won't be serving church that day, but we'll be learning how to shoot better, move faster, fight without a gun, fight, shoot up close, and all that stuff. I finished building that Lone Wolf Timberwolf frame, that Glock 19.
Uh huh.
Got it finished up and put the barrel in and everything. And then my first cousin's husband, which is also our neighbor, um, he had a problem with his Glock 19 Gen 5, and his barrel somehow is rusted. It's like a brand new gun. It's like had it for like 2 months.
What?
Carries it every day, and he went to go clean it, and he looked down the barrel, and it was completely covered in rust. And I got to talking to him. I think he might have used Hoppy's 9 and didn't get it out
Mm.
and ruined his barrel. He may have left it in there too long, trying to get the lead foulings out or whatever. You can't leave that kind of solvent in a barrel for a long period of time. It lots of problems. So he's sending that back to Glock. They want to look at it. I don't know if they're going to cover it under warranty or not, but they said it's doing what? Send that back to us. We're going to look at that. So they're checking it out, and he didn't have a barrel, and I had just to put that Glock barrel in that Gen 3, and it fits a 5. So I've let him borrow that barrel until he gets his back or gets a new one or whatever. So
Cool.
it was assembled for a day. I've got a threaded barrel that I've thrown into it, but uh, I haven't I haven't got to shoot yet. What else we got here? Yeah, I'm looking at upgrading the sights on it. It's got the factory Glock night sights, which are great at night, but during the day they just don't really pick up well. They're pretty dark. So I'm thinking about going to Trijicon HD sights. I really like those. They got a big fluorescent front dot. The back's pretty much blacked out, but they're tritium, so you can see it night and day. And it's a huge dot. It's like a big excess big dot sights. So I really like those. It's good for old eyes.
I know, right?
Let's see. Oh, been updating my medical bag. Oh, you guys can't see it for there's part of it over there for the from that medic class I took. I've I put some more equipment in there and fleshed it out a little bit better, and that's just gonna be the bag I keep with me in the truck, and then take with me in church and all that. It's gonna have a bunch of tourniquets and gauze and um, all kinds of bleed stop equipment, and I can't pronounce it, but the nose tubes, nasal phalangeal tubes, or whatever, and everything I've been trained on, chest seals and all that stuff. So, and I'm looking at taking an EMT course through the local fire department here, just so I can get checked off on some other medical devices that I could use if I have proper sign offs. That'd be covered under EMT qualifications or whatever. I don't
I
know
used,
anything about what I'm talking about, but I'm just telling you what I'm thinking about doing and talking to people.
I
So,
used to I used to be a Red Cross and American Heart CPR instructor,
yeah.
and part of my instructorship, I had to ride with EMTs on the Bambulance for about a week,
Yeah.
and got to see all kind of neat stuff doing that. So,
Nasty stuff there.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun though.
Yeah. I was on there. I was trained on American Red Cross, and we had 2 or 3 different disciplines that were taught, and the AEDs and the all that at work. And so I was on those teams, the blood cleanup team, and the chemical spill team, and the fire extinguisher team, and so I get to be on all those fun things. That's enough of that about me. Let's talk about EDC. What are you carrying?
EDC got my Glock 19. Got my my Kershaw knife,
Woohoo.
and my 19 is loaded with Hornady critical duty ammo.
Cool. Is that tactical ammo?
It's
Is
pretty
that
good stuff.
salt ammo?
Assault, yeah, it's assault ammo.
It's a fully semi-automatic
It's a
assault.
fully semi-automatic assault, dude. I don't know if you saw it or not. I was so mad. I was so mad. I got to tell this. I didn't post it on God and Guns because it was just, I was just so mad about it. I don't know if you saw that lady that wants to be a congressman over in Virginia sawing up the AR-15 the other day.
Yeah.
Did you see the one I posted on that?
I had not.
So she's oh, my husband bought this. Oh, I'm going to destroy it because we feel bad. We watch these kids on TV. Blah, 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 blah. So she saws it off across the hand grip and cuts the end of the barrel off of it.
Yep.
So I posted out there and I begged one of my law enforcement buddies to please get in touch with somebody in Virginia and have her arrested for making an SBR.
Yep.
Because that's what she did.
Yep.
If we did that, we get arrested.
Yep. The only bad thing about it is she cut the gas tube, so it's only going to shoot once. But
You can replace a gas tube.
yeah. Yep. I was like, I've seen like 6,000 memes on that, and this is how you become a felon in 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
He's now a felon.
What a doofus. I was like, oh my
They're all
goodness.
doofuses. They won't prosecute him.
No, they won't. They
The
won't do a thing
bureaucrats
about it.
are want to keep us down, man. The man wants to keep us down.
I ain't staying down.
As I've said in the last 2 weeks, I'm done. I'm done with y'all stupidity. I'm done with your slave enforcement. If y'all gonna try to take something, you're gonna have to pay it the hard way.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say about that. All right, so I'm wearing a Glock 19 as well. I have been wearing my Glock 30S some this week. I've sort of been having an affair with my Glock 30S, and the 19's gotten jealous. So, I tell you, I love that Glock 30S. If it just had 5 more rounds in it, it'd be a Glock 21. But
Which is what I carry.
yeah. So
I carry mine quite a bit too. I like it.
I do. I love the 45 round. It has its limitations. It has its pluses. I have to say it's a better shooter. It's a better recoil controlling gun than the 19. 19 is more whippier,
Yeah.
and snappier than the 30. The 30 is just that's 45. It's traveling at 2/3 the speed of a 9mm, but
It's like us. It's big and slow,
fat, slow.
but it gets the job done.
It'll do it. Unless it's through a glass window or something like that, it gets stopped, or heavy clothing or something. I didn't hear all the arguments. I got friends that love 45 are cussing me right now. So, and when they're hearing this, hey, wow, we got viewers over. I hope you're keeping track of them because I've been looking at the notes the whole time. Oh,
I love my 45. And nobody say anything to us yet. We got a few people out there though.
yeah. At least there's none of them there trolls on there tonight. So far.
Yeah.
It's early. All right. So you have a joke for us. Tell us about this.
I do have a joke. Need help. Two men met on opposite sides of a river. One shouts to the other, I need you to help me get to the other side. The other guy replies, you are on the other side.
Eh?
Eh?
Sleight of hand or sleight of lip. All right. So we had some feedback. I have another one somewhere, and I'll promise I'll try to find it and pull it out and put it on here next week. This one's name is John. He says, hello, my name is John. I recently found your podcast. I really enjoy your last podcast with the author of A Time to Kill, that'd be Greg Hopkins. Too, I'm on a security team for my church as well. It's refreshing to hear someone else in the same serving role as I am. Listening to you guys is like the Bible says, iron sharpening iron. Keep the podcast coming. God bless. John from Sharpsburg, Georgia.
Sharpsburg.
Is that close to you?
That's a new one for me. I've never heard of Sharpsburg.
Sharpsburg. Sounds like it might be over towards the northeastern corner. I don't know.
I don't know. Might be.
Sharp.
A fellow Georgian.
And a fellow church security guy.
Absolutely. I did notice there was some conversation. Our buddy Tony had listened to the podcast last week, and everybody was commenting about Greg Hopkins being on the show, and everybody listened to him and stuff. And,
yeah.
So
our buddy Tony.
Greg, you got a fan base out there.
Yep. Yeah, we appreciate Greg. He is a cornucopia of knowledge on the Bible and on
all things in general,
church history, all kinds of things, and he knows Islam, and he knows Judeo. I guess it's Jewish traits and customs, and dude is very knowledgeable. I enjoy talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like drinking out of a fire hose. Okay. So, Bible verse this week is coming from Ezekiel 3, verses 18 and 19. If I say to the wicked, you shall surely die, and you give him no warning, nor speak to him, or speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, in order to save his life. I may have to learn how to speak again, Doug. We start over again. If I say to the wicked, you shall surely die. This is quotes around it that God's saying this. And you give him no warning, nor speak to warn the wicked of his wicked way, in order to save his life. That wicked person shall die for his iniquity, but his blood I will require at your hand. But if you warn the wicked, and he does not turn from his wickedness, or from his wicked way, he shall die for his iniquity, but you will have delivered your soul. What? So what God is saying here is those who are called to proclaim God's word are held in account if they don't open their mouth and proclaim God's word. We don't get off the hook just because this is the Old Testament. Jesus also said, if you don't identify yourself with me, if you don't follow me and let other people know that he doesn't recognize you before his Father, right? We know that God expects those who are his people, who are called by his name, to warn. Here we see in Ezekiel that we're called as believers in the priesthood of Christ, since we were called to go out into all the world, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We are to proclaim what God says to people who are not believers. And people are like, oh, I don't know if we can do that. Well, we're called to do that. So when people are doing things which God says will send them to hell, and there's a lot of those things all through the Bible, namely, the first thing is denying Jesus as his son and not putting their faith in Jesus to be their redeemer, their salvation, their their blood offering, not guilt offering, blood offering to cover their iniquity, their sin. That is the big one. But beyond that, people who are sinning are we're supposed to tell them, hey, God says not to do that. He'll kill you for that. You're going to die for that. Uh, it's not anything to take lightly. Being a believer calls us to be uncomfortable, to be at odds with society, especially today. But we stand on what God tells us to do. We're not doing it out of meanness. We're not doing it to make them feel bad. We're not doing it to hurt their feelings. We're not doing it to shame them. We're not doing it to make them depressed. We're doing it to save their soul. Okay. And if that means you might get judged or criticized or called names or stuff thrown at you, that's the price that we step up and pay, right? So I want to encourage you as a believer of encourage to those believers out there, those who are followers of Christ. I know that not all of our listeners are, but we're called to proclaim the gospel, the good news, and we're called to stand against sin, like abortion, like slavery. You know, people think, what are you talking about slavery? When you no longer are a sovereign citizen of a republic and you have your rights taken away from you, you're a slave to that state because you just pay taxes and you do what the master tells you. When you don't have the right to protect yourself from someone killing you or harming you, raping or robbing you, when that happens, you are no longer. Where'd our notes just disappear to? Did your notes disappear?
Mm-mm.
My notes just totally disappeared. So I don't know what happened. I was sitting here going through my notes, but to wrap it up, uh, we're called to do that. We're called to stand on principle. We're called to stand and uh, let people know when they're outside of what God has commanded, when they're living their life apart from God. We're to let them know that they're in opposition, not out of authority, not out of our ability to do it or to do what we're calling them out. We're to call them that they need a savior, and that savior is Jesus, and that they need to repent from their sin so that they might live, and that means live eternally, not just live that day. And that doesn't mean we threaten them like some religions do, convert or get your head chopped off. We're just telling them what God said, and we didn't write the Bible. We're just telling them what God said. And if they have a problem with that, that's between them and God, and it's not our fault.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want to be reminded of that. That's why they've taken God out of the schools. That's why they've taken God out of everything they can in the public realm. And they don't understand why people are going around killing each other now. Because there's no right and wrong. All right. So main topic. I got my notes back. So I'm sorry. I've been
There you go.
sort of listing along there. Okay, so whipping the Quislings. Raise your hands if you know what Quisling is. Anybody know what Quisling is? Anybody out there? Hey, Tim's on there. Hey, Tim. Anybody know what a Quisling is? I know everybody's going to their dictionaries now. Quislings. It was a term that
Uh,
was used a lot around the turn of the century. You get something, Doug?
no. I was going to say, I know what it is.
Good. Because you're reading the notes too.
Actually, I knew beforehand.
Good. I loved the books by Jim Rawls, especially the first three. I really loved that series. And I love all the books, but where the people were um, calling the collaborators against the people uh, an enemy force. So a Quisling is a traitor who collaborates with an enemy force occupying their country. A collaborator, colluder, sympathizer, traitor, turncoat, backstabber, double crosser, defector, Judas, snake in the grass. So you understand what a Quisling is. Quisling term was used a lot during the Revolutionary War period, and that's where you had people who were British subjects up until the Revolutionary War, and they would conspire against the patriots, the self-described Americans, uh, to try to help the redcoats, help the British win because they had still allegiance with England, and so they were termed as Quislings. Those who would go around and act like they were actually a patriot, but then they would tell everything they knew to the British.
Hmm.
And so, how does that relate to today? Well, today we're all Americans, except for those who hate everything about America, uh, that are wanting to change America to be like Europe or Venezuela or Russia or China, to give government all authorities to control what people say, to control what people do, to control people whether they get to live or die, whether or not they get medical care. There's a certain segment of people who were born here or have came here from other countries who want to change America to be like those other countries. They are attempting to overthrow our U.S. Constitution. And so I call those people who are trying to overthrow our Constitution and change it and take away our rights so that they can get more free stuff. I call them Quislings in my own mind. And it's not derogatory, it's just a descriptive term. I'm not calling them a derogatory term. It's just to identify people who are trying to overthrow the Constitution that gives us all life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, abilities through those words in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And you have people that think that they should be able to tell you what to do. Other citizens of this country trying to say that they get to tell you what to do. That is not a free citizen. You have the right to say what you'd like to say under the First Amendment. You have the right to believe what you'd like to believe under the First Amendment. The press has the right to write what they want to write under the First Amendment. But when it's a concerted effort to lie about what this country stands for, or to try to use emotional people and use tragic events to change laws that can't be affected. In order to change or get rid of the Second Amendment, in order to alter the Second Amendment, you have to have a constitutional convention. You can't remove the Second Amendment without a constitutional convention, which would be called from the states. You'd have to have a majority of the states declare they want a constitutional convention to the effect of removing the Second Amendment. and what, or altering it or changing it in some way. But the Constitution says the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And nowhere in there does it say the right of the people to own fully automatic, semi-auto
Fully semis.
rifles can be. It says arms, and arms is knives, spears, pikes, guns, shotguns, rifles, pistols, muskets, whatever we choose to be arms is our right to keep. And bear means we are able to purchase, own them. No one can take those away. We're able to carry them with us, as the Supreme Court has defined under the Heller, that we are allowed to possess them, we're allowed to own them, we're allowed to use them. And so to make laws that are opposed to that Bill of Right, that right under the Second Amendment, it takes away our right. So that would be unconstitutional. You can't remove an inalienable right through a law. If you do, then you're violating your oath to the Constitution, and you're violating your oath to office, which are punishable crimes. Those are felonies. And they need to be enforced. So anybody that puts their signatures, I posted today, on a bill to try to take an inalienable right through their legislative process is trying to bypass or destroy our Constitution. I think that's an act of war, personally, because they swore an oath to defend and protect. Yet, not only are they not defending and protecting and upholding all of the Bill of Rights, I mean, they've already, in previous president and previous legislator, including Republicans, have passed laws taking away your Fourth Amendment right, your Fifth Amendment right, your right to a speedy trial. All those things have been amended through legislative and presidential signatures, which is unconstitutional. And I am really upset that people are not upset as I am about it. The NDAA Act is just an abomination of a law that should have never seen the light of day, that needs to be abolished, needs to be removed, should be nullified by 10th Amendment process of the states, or it should be struck down by the Supreme Court. But yet they've let it go through. And I've had enough of it. I have, and my friends have had enough of it. And the American people, from what I'm seeing posted and what I'm seeing in the polls, have had enough of people trying to enslave us, trying to take away our ability to speak as Christians, taking away our ability to defend our families and our children, and trying to set us up for attack after attack in these gun-free zones, which is criminal. That's a criminal action. Nobody should be disbarred of their ability to defend themselves. If they do, then they are responsible for that. And while we've allowed a bunch of people that have failed at every other thing in their life to come along and become leaders and making decisions for us. I mean, look at the people up there that are supposed to be representing us. They're just idiotic. I'm sorry. They're just they can't rub two brain cells together in about half the Congress up there. And how they're going to sit here and say, well, they're going to come and do this and they're going to come and do that. The Second Amendment is there for a reason, people. It ain't there for hunting. It ain't there for.
It's not.
It's not there for shooting clays. It's not there for collectors. It's there when people like what we've got in our Congress right now are making laws that are unconstitutional and thinking they're going to enforce it. Now, I understand the majority of law enforcement are going to be like, I'm not going to go try to take guns from Troy. I mean, the guys around here, I'm not going to try to go take Troy's guns. I want to go home to my family. And he wants to go home to his family. And that's the way it should be. Only reason you do stupid stuff like that is because you got a bunch of communist wannabes that want to share in the America's wealth, but are too lazy to do it themselves and go out there and work. That are voting for people who are just more criminals than they would be. Seriously. I mean, that's what it's come down to. They're voting for other criminals to come and take away wealth and take away people's right to speak, take it away their ability to defend themselves. They're electing criminals to do what they wouldn't do on their own because they're too lazy or they're too afraid. Well, which way would you? Well, come on, Doug, come in here. Let me rule the rooster.
No, you're on a roll. You're good. That what actually we were at work talking about this very same thing today. They were talking about the Second Amendment, and one guy said, "Well, I wouldn't mind so bad if they banned bump stocks." I'm like, I would, because that's just the first thing. Then they're going to want something else. Then they're going to want something else, and they have no right to be doing it to start with. There's no reason. Now I made the comment. I was like, the Second Amendment. I said, the British didn't come over here to take your squirrel gun or your rabbit gun or your shotgun. They came over to take cannons and gunpowder.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they came for. So they're like, well, they didn't realize back in those days we were going to have AR-15 assault rifles and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, but you still have the freedom of speech, where they did everything with a chicken feather and some ink and scratch stuff out and put it on a carrier or on a pony and deliver it to somebody. I said they didn't realize there was going to be Facebook and media and newspapers and all this mass media that they can produce all this crap that they're spewing out of their mouth. They didn't understand that either, but you still got the right to say what you want to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got
irritating.
The right, yeah. But that's fallacy too. There were guns that were multiple shot guns in the 1500s.
Mm-hmm.
King Louis in 1546 had a 18 shot rifle. You loaded it up and you just kept shooting. You just flip the bolt and it dropped more powder in, and boom, you shot again. Boom, you shot again. Back at the turn of the century, there was air rifles that were capable of killing people that would shoot 32 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
There were guns that had 12 barrels on them that they could shoot off at the same time. Those guns existed. There were rows of guns. There was grape shot, which is a multi-bullet that the cannons used. Grape shot. I mean, they had weapons of great destruction, more powerful than your AR-15. And if I hear another person say AR-15 assault weapons again, I think I'm just going to blow eardrums right out and stuff's going to ooze on my ears, because those aren't military guns. Those are semi-automatic guns. Those are not belt-fed guns. Those don't have cyclic rates of a machine gun, even with a bump stock, especially with a bump stock, because a bump stock is a black art to try to get the thing to work right anyway. And, I've already said I don't have any use for a bump stock, but I do have for a binary trigger. Mm-hmm. Binary triggers will be thrown in right with bump stocks, because if they even know what they are, I'm sure there's enough, turncoats, backstabbers, and Quislings out there that'll run and say, you need to ban them their binary triggers along with them bump stocks. You know what I'm saying? You got useful idiots running around, and I'm not insulting God's image here, but you've got people. I'm using useful idiots as what was it? Stalin was the one coined the term. I think that you had people that were too stupid to know that supporting him was going to end up getting them killed, or end up getting them giving power to them over them, enslaving them. And that's what I'm talking about. So you got people that it is a spiritual thing. We've talked about this a week or two ago. We're in a spiritual war. And so when you have people who do not value life, they will take a gun and they will kill people. They will take the components to make a bomb and they will kill people. They will take a car and they will run people down in the streets. They will take a machete and they will cut people up in pieces. They will take a 5-gallon can of gasoline and set a building on fire. They are evil. Okay. You cannot legislate evil. You cannot stop evil without having equal or greater force, right? You got four guys, and you got one guy with a bat, and you got four guys with lead pipes, and you got one homeowner with a bat. Is he gonna make it? Granny, is she gonna make it? If they're disarmed, if they're not equally or uh, armed, they don't have a force multiplier. And so I've drawn my line in the sand there. I've said, my family's life is important to me. My family's uh, safety is important to me, and I'll not be enslaved without them forcing me to. Now, if God says you're going to be a slave, you're going to go, or God says you're going to go to China and be a missionary and you can't have any guns, and hey, that's what I'm going to be doing because God told me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
God did not tell me to stick my head on a chopping block. God did not tell me to put myself in chains. If I have the ability to stop someone from harming my wife and children, I am supposed to do that. If someone's harming innocent people, I'm supposed to do that. I had an interesting conversation with my pastor one time. We were talking about abortion, and we were talking about martyr. If we were to be martyred, if we were to, and how far do we go to stand for what God calls us to stand for? Back here, like in Ezekiel, if we don't declare that God says that the wicked are going to die if they don't change their ways, are we to stand outside of abortion clinics and hold signs and tell people not to go in and warn them and things like that? Or should we go in and get rid of murderers with a gun? Because we're called to defend the innocent. I mean, what's more innocent than a baby? That really raised some eyebrows. But I'm like, seriously, I mean, if we're called to defend the innocent at any cost, because his his um, his commentary was we should go in into which country was it? It's been several years ago. My brain's a little foggy at this point about the complete essence of the conversation, but I'm thinking it was going in to take out Assad over in not Lebanon,
Syria.
Syria, yeah, over in Syria because he was killing innocent people and he was chemically attacking them. I'm like, according to which news report, because some stations were saying it was true, some people were saying it was false. I said, he said, well, we need to do that. We're called as Christians to go in and stop that kind of genocide. I'm like abortion. He goes, yeah. Like, so we should go armed in and take out abortionists. He's like, oh, well, no, I didn't say that. It's like, well, what are you saying? It applies. Genocide is genocide, whether it's a baby or whether it's whether it's a Christian in Syria, whether it's a Muslim in Syria, whatever it is, you can't be for military action in one spot and not for civil action in another. I don't think, but that's the world we live in. How far do we go with our beliefs about where to defend the innocent, where to defend those that cannot take care of themselves? I'm just throwing these out there. I'm not saying I have the answers to everything. I pray about this stuff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping God gives me answers to these things, but you know, I, I have this whole thing about trying to take away our rights that our founding fathers died for, that bled for, lost their fortunes, lost their families over. Those are the rights that my great uncles and my great great grandfathers fought in World War II, and died and bled and to defend our Constitution, to defend our way of life, our liberty, our ability to have those things that were were gifted to us by God. Our right to have life, to have liberty, and be able to pursue happiness, or am I going to let some people that are communist in our country take away those things because I won't stand on principle to the point that it looks like it might take here soon. What about you, Doug?
Uh, I'm with you, man. It's just,
I've been on defense, and I'm always advocated, defense. But at some point, whenever the the criminals try to take over the country, at what point do we say enough? At what point do we stop the tyrants in their march towards? I mean, everything that they do is about death. I mean, they pay for, with our taxpayers' money, abortions.
mm-hmm.
As believers, we're allowing it to happen. They allow criminal aliens to come into this country and kill and rape and steal from our citizens, our brothers and sisters here in this country. Nothing's done. Nothing stops them. Now they want to disarm us as a populace.
Yeah.
Uh, if they take that step, they're really putting themselves on the line for sedition. I mean, they're really putting themselves on the line for trying to overthrow a republic, because without our Bill of Rights to protect us from the government, we are slaves. You all understand that. I mean, our audience understands it. And I'm sorry, I'm not been following over here. Yeah. Puckle guns. Puckle guns. Okay. What's puckle guns? Did I do something? I was reading Tim's comment over there. But I'm probably tripping over my own tongue. But that's, as believers out there, guys, I know there's several of you out there listening. I see the viewers numbers here. Where are you guys at? Are you as upset about it as I am? I mean, my eternal salvation is secured. I know who I believe and trust in. I know where my eternal home is. My children have professed Jesus as their Lord and Savior, and are showing fruits of the Spirit. I don't fear any politician or bureaucrat or quisling that would try to attack and kill us. I want them to know Jesus. And if they know Jesus, they wouldn't be doing this. Am I wrong to say that, Doug?
No, not at all. And I can tell you what he's trying to take, puckle gun. I looked it up just to make sure I was right. It was the
multi-fire thing.
It was a revolver patented in 1718 by James Puckle, a British inventor, and one of the earliest weapons referred to as a machine gun.
Yep.
In 1718.
Yep. That was long before the Bill of Rights and Constitution, 1787. So, I mean, they knew about weapons of mass destruction. They knew about, I mean, they didn't have an H-bomb, but they knew about guns that were a lot more effective. They knew about the crossbow, which was a big upgrade from the bow, which was a big upgrade from the spear, which was a big upgrade from the sword. A weapon is a weapon. A Ford pickup truck
is a weapon.
Full of cans of gasoline is a weapon. I mean,
a pressure cooker is a weapon. If you put it in a backpack full of explosive and leave it in a crowd and detonate it.
Yeah, if that was real, but I'm not going there today. Okay. Great book. If you guys haven't read it, just laying there. Paul Revere's Ride is a great book talking about the American Revolution. It's pretty interesting stuff, talking about what our founding fathers did 238 years ago or something like that now, 9 years ago. Very, very interesting book, worth the time to read, and is a great primer on American history. Just to change the subject. Okay, so I don't mean to get dark, guys, but is everybody else is just fed up with it as I am? I'm just fed up with the lies. I'm just fed up with the stupidity of their arguments, the ridiculousness of their arguments. Yeah. So us who are not criminals are to be turned into criminals because we're good people, and the people that actually did the crime are ignored multiple times when they say they're going to kill somebody. Uh, it's almost like they just set it up for such a thing. What do you think about that? Am I
Uh,
going too far?
no, no, you're not. I
It's
tell you another thing. I can't even hardly watch the news anymore. I guess I'm ticked off. Even on news programs that I actually like, they get me upset. One of the things that gets me, this Russian collusion thing about them affecting our election. I get so ticked off listening to that nonsense. How many countries did Barack Obama and the Democrats, when they were in office, affect elections in other countries, shipping guns to rebels so they could overthrow those governments, and did it?
Hey, you saw where the ISIS weaponry was
Yes,
tracked back to America?
yes.
America was supplying ISIS with weapons under which administration was that?
That would be Eric Holder.
Yeah, Fast and Furious. What was that? Was that really about Mexico? And all those missiles went missing? Y'all knew about the missiles that went missing under Fast and Furious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Military weapons that went missing, M16s that went missing, lots of Toyota pickup trucks that were paid for by United States and that were being driven around by ISIS. You understand what's going on, or do you not? Because there's a lot going on out there that is being covered and ignored. So let's change subject. Dana Loesch, however you pronounce her name,
Lash.
Lash. I kept messing up. My tongue is tied up tonight. Her NRA video. Did you guys watch that? Have you seen it?
Which one?
This
Uh,
last one, the
uh,
one where she flips over the sand clock, the sand timer thing.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh my gosh, you gotta watch that. I would play it if I had it queued up. It would take me too long to find it. So she's like going through, and she's pretty much like making an ultimatum that we've had enough, kind of thing of criminals telling us what to do. And I mean, she's like boom, 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 calling out Democratic politicians, calling out leftist judges, calling out uh, all these left wing people, calling out the media, the
Oh,
lying, fake news media, that their day is coming. And she then flips over her little sand timer thing, and says, and then it shows that her new show's premiering something other. So it's her premiere that is coming up, but it sounds like a threat that the NRA is coming for the left and for the communist and for those people who are criminal politicians. And man, the left has gone nuts. They have gone crazy, and they're like one of the supposed fathers of the kids that got was killed in Florida was on ABC and was like screaming and hollering about Dana and how she was threatening them and how she was threatening the and they needed to arrest her and have her arrested. Okay, oh yeah, he was going off the deep end, and I was laughing. I tell you what,
I gotta go find that one. I haven't seen that one yet.
you gotta watch that. I didn't post it on our channel. I've been too busy with, with some other things, but uh, call your congressman and remind them who they work for, and that you are not going to be enslaved. Um, and they better not support or sign any of this garbage in law. The only person in Kentucky that we really have to worry about is that Yarmouth weirdo up in Louisville, who's always been a communist and supporting it. I don't know what Georgia's like, but everyone else here in our state will not be voting for that garbage. Um, and I'm thinking 10th Amendment will tap that out as soon as they try to do that with our governor, our legislature. I think Georgia's probably pretty safe in the same realm. I don't know. You got a
Hmm.
couple dudes up in Atlanta you got to worry about.
Yeah, well, yeah, a few, but they get Trump pretty quick.
Hopefully. I don't know what Trump's doing anymore. I'm just, excuse me, I've had it with all the politicians pretty much. But I'm to the point where, hey, you guys need to honor your oath to to uphold the Constitution, defend the Constitution. If you're not, then you need to get out. And I think the states ought to recall anybody that votes for that garbage, anybody that sponsored that garbage. I think that the governor and the state legislatures need to recall that person back to the state, kick them out of office, and put somebody in there that until they can have a special election to replace them. That's the way I feel about it. What
Hmm.
y'all feel about it? Y'all comment. We're losing viewers, so we must be upsetting them. I don't know, scaring them, upsetting them. There he is, Tim. Said what you were talking about in the 1700s, the Gatling guns, the 1700s. Yep, that's what I was talking about. You're more knowledgeable than I am. I just knew what they looked like. I didn't know what they were called.
Hmm.
Uh, all right, I've rambled long enough. What you got, Doug?
Nothing. I've been chiming in all along. It's just, it's irritating. It is. It's irritating. But
Yeah,
hey, we just got to stick together, man.
yep,
And it's just like all of our military buddies out there. That's why I'm a member of Oath Keepers.
yep,
Because I took an oath a long time ago when I was, well, let's see, I was 18 when I joined,
yep,
and I took the oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
yep,
And that oath never expires. You're always held to that oath because you promised and you took it.
yep.
And I'm I'm like you. I'm prepared. You just got a bunch of people out there that are trying to take away our rights. I just think they should take away, try to take away some of the other rights for a change instead of just us. I mean, see how other people like that nonsense.
Oh, yeah. They took away your right to due process. They
Hmm.
took away your right to speedy trial. They took away your right to what else? Right to privacy because they're spying on all of us. They're listening on all our phones. They're watching all of our camera phones. They're going through our emails and they're listening to our phone calls to our friends and family members because we all are so evil and they're so good.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, guys, when y'all hear this, send us some feedback. How y'all feel about it. I want to know how you all feel about it. I want to hear. I mean, I see Facebook posts and stuff, but those guys are not necessarily listeners. They're just people that like see our post and comment on them. But some of them don't even listen or read the post. They just comment on the title. So
Hmm.
you know who's actually reading them. I had one of those today. Uh, it's just, I'm praying that God sends a revival and turns us back away from the path we're on. It looks like we're down for the count, though. It looks like we're going into the last ending here. But our forefathers thought the same thing. People thought the same thing since Jesus flew up in the air. So
Hmm.
we just don't know when it's going to happen. But if you let the Quislings take over and let them corrupt our government further, then we're going to be back in the dark ages. It's going to be all out bloodbath. Patreon, if you would like to support our show, you may not after this one, but if you'd like to support our show, you can go to patreon.com/Got Guns podcast. No, guys, /Got Guns. Patreon.com/Got and Guns. And we had a new Patreon contributor this week. And Tim's on the line. Tim Kim, John Odlin, and Doug Schultz and Steve Stone and Shannon Copeland. And we've got like 4, 5, 6 other people. Oh, probably more than that. I don't know how many we got now. Well, we got a whole lot more that either didn't want their names put out there or they're not to that tier yet, where these guys are in the top. So we appreciate their support. We appreciate most of those guys say, "Hey, don't send my money back," because I said I was going to send it back because we were like not here at all January between illnesses and Doug's duck hunting and all that stuff. Other ways you can support the show: join the NRA, use our link on our show notes, and there is a link on our show notes. And that's what I've joined. Even though the NRA's oh aggravating as all get out sometimes, they're still the biggest voice in the out there. And just because, and since the left hates them, and all these bots out there are cussing them out and accusing them, I'm going to support them more. So
I got
everyone of my children now.
I got 5 today, man.
Yeah, everyone of my children and now RA members, my wife and my parents and my nephew, and so they've just made me invest a whole lot more money into the NRA.
Yep.
So
like I said, I got 5 new ones today.
Yeah. If you guys join the NRA or sign somebody else up using our link, we get a little bit of love. Devore. I bought some stuff on Devore today. And we had 3 people recently sign up through Devore in the last week. So appreciate that, or actually buy something last week. So that's cool. I bought what did I buy? I bought a magazine holder to hold the tourniquets to put on my bag, because I think that would be the best thing to hold them. Is I got 3 double M4 mag pouch that's I'm gonna put on the outside of my medical bag. I can throw all my tourniquets on those or in those, so they're easily accessible. Laser activated shot report. I got email from John today saying that we got a new update, 4 point something other, that is free, because once you buy a laser activated shot reporter, you get free upgrades for life. And so you get to get anytime they make any changes or upgrades, you get a new one. You can get a 10% discount if you use coupon code GANDG at LASRAPP.com. Hoplite Armor. If you need body armor, go to Hoplite Armor, use our link, and we'll get a little bit of love. Zija. I take Zija every day. I use Zija supplements. I use Zija tea, keep my colon and gut cleaned out. I use Zija deodorant. I use Zija supplements when I'm lifting. And so I like Zija. Zija helped me. And so I sell Zija because I use Zija. GodandGuns.myzija, MYZIJA.com, if you want to know more about it. And then you get the rest.
Crossbreed holsters, our buddies. We will be seeing them next month up at the USCCA, United States Concealed Carry Association. They're probably the biggest sponsor of that big expo every year. So we will be up there in Louisville, Kentucky, April 13th, 14th, 15th, I think it is, Troy. But Crossbreed will be up there. Our buddies will be there, and they'll have anything you could possibly want. If you're carrying, like I said, if you're carrying a gun, Troy and I both carry in the Super Tuck Deluxe, along with other holsters that they sell as well.
Yep.
But they are the most comfortable holster you will ever get. If you're carrying a gun and you don't like carrying it because it's not comfortable, well, you're not carrying in a Crossbreed. Go check them out, crossbreedholsters.com. Also, Axles and Tactical, precision rifles, pistols, and they make knives and just a little bit of everything. But they are awesome rifles. Go check these guys out, axlesandtactical.com. Find something you like out there. When you order it, use our promo code God and Guns, and Jeff and crew will give you 10% off on your order just for listening to us.
Cool. Interiors Alliance, we're a lifetime member of the Interiors Alliance group. If you would like to know more about Interiors Alliance, go to interioursalliance.com, and you can find out about the lifetime memberships, the annual memberships. You get discounts on all the different products from the different companies in that group. They are a group of patriots, first responders, ex-military, ex-special forces guys that have started businesses, the gun businesses and related fields, and they are working together to promote each other to as a pillar. So Interius means pillar, and so it's a support. So it's like a big support group of like-minded businesses, like-minded people. Check them out, Interius Alliance. NRA Armed Citizen, Doug, what you got?
NRA Armed Citizen. This was a pretty good one tonight. Tow truck driver shoots a man in self-defense Friday night in the Lower Garden District. NOPD investigating. This came from the Associated Press. A man shot by a tow truck driver who New Orleans police say was acting in self-defense Friday night in the Lower Garden District. Officers were called to the 800 block of Felicity Street just before 6 p.m. when a tow truck driver reported shooting a man who was attacking him. Police say the man shot sustained a non-fatal gunshot wound and will be charged in the incident. The tow truck driver will not be charged.
All right. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Chalk one up for the good guys.
Yeah. Louisiana, you say.
Louisiana.
New Orleans, of all places.
New Orleans.
Cajun country.
That's the professor's old stomping grounds. He likes to go down there to New Orleans, I think.
New Orleans. He was over in Mississippi, though.
He was in Mississippi, but he liked to go over to New Orleans a lot.
Yep.
I think Jared used to do a little MMA fighting over there.
Yeah. That's right. That, he went over and smoked cigars and casinos and stuff like that. No, that was down there at the beach in Mississippi, wasn't it?
Yeah, they got that in Biloxi.
Biloxi, yeah. Low country. Mosquitoes, humidity. Y'all can have it. It's almost like Georgia.
I know, dude. It was 32 degrees here this morning.
Yeah, it was 29 here.
You had a little snow, I saw.
Yeah. I don't want no more snow.
I don't need nothing down here. These people can't drive. They don't understand.
Keep going the same direction. Oh, let's see. Wait. Tim said something. Trying to get out of Illinois. Pretty much too late for this state. Yeah. After this you saw where they was put, or if you're 18 to 20, that you're going to jail, right? If you don't give up your guns or something. New law they're trying to pass now.
Hey, did you see though? Last week I called it. I talked about it on the show, and I said somebody was going to go to Dick's Sporting Goods or Walmart that was under 21 years old and try to buy a long rifle and get denied, and they were going to sue and win.
Yeah.
Have you seen all the lawsuits that are coming out now?
I don't know.
Oh, they're out there, man. They've been doing it. There's one in I was just reading it yesterday. I can't remember what state it was.
They need to sue each representative and senator who sponsors and co-sponsors those bills. Sue them personally, not the government. Sue them personally for trying to take away their right to defend themselves, to try to take away their God-given right. Personally, so class action, whatever.
So go get them, boys.
Get them. Skeet them, as my grandfather would say. All right. Anything else, Doug?
I'm good, man.
Tim has been on fire over there tonight.
He has.
Oregon has a lawsuit. Cool.
Oregon, that's where it was. Thank you, Tim.
That's all right, man.
He is all over it tonight, man. I called it last week. I knew it was going to happen. If I had a 20-year-old down here that I could take to Dick's Sporting Goods and try to buy one, we'd start one in Georgia too.
Yep, go for it. Take your 18 to 20-year-old to Dick's Sporting Goods, and then you have a lawsuit in your hands.
Yeah, we were talking about it at work. I said they can't do it. It's not against the law to buy a gun, a rifle. If you're 18 years old, you can buy one.
Yep. That's
just the law. That's the way it's written. And by discriminating against somebody under 21 and not letting them have it is no difference than coming in and saying a woman can't buy a gun, or if you're Hispanic or of color or anything else, you can't buy a gun. There's no difference. You can't discriminate on that.
Can you do like Target and let men go into women's bathrooms and hang out?
I don't know. They got, and I don't pay too much attention to Target. They got that, no Beretta sign on their front door, and I just make sure I carry my Glock when I go up there.
Yeah. I've got a Beretta. I need to sell that thing. I don't want to get caught with it.
Yeah, you don't get caught with a Beretta, man, because every store, I don't know what they got against Berettas, man, but every store has one of those.
It must have been a stock image that they could use, a free image that the gun banners could use, because they wouldn't pay for nothing unless they use government money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's enough of that. Let's go. Go out there and spread the good news, gospel. Go there and tell them about Jesus. Maybe we can convert some before they get sent off to the fiery furnace. Yeah, Ezekiel. You guys don't forget about Ezekiel here. About the verses today. I am looking for the there Ezekiel 3:18 through 19.
Yep.
That you need to be telling people um, that Judgment Day is coming, and you better have your ticket to ride, or you're going to be in bad shape. If you don't turn from your ways, it's the old saying used to be "turn or burn."
Turn or burn.
You remember those T-shirts?
Oh yeah.
Burn. All right. So you don't have anything else, Doug?
I'm good, man.
So when's the moving date?
Oh, I don't know. Whenever my brother gets down here and gets the brother-in-law suite finished up and done, then I get to move. I probably move sometime in April when I get to move finally.
Yeah, I moved last year from I started like around Christmas and moved from Christmas till like June.
I was telling Wendy today, man. We got that tractor now, and so I got a big spot for a garden. I mean, it's huge, and every time I go out there, all I can see is squash and zucchini and tomatoes and stuff growing out there, and I don't know. I'm excited about getting out there and putting in a garden. Now, when it's hot and 102 degrees out here in Georgia, I probably won't be that excited. But
you gotta do it like my grandma did it. You get out there at 5:00 in the morning before right before the sun gets very high in the day.
Hey, I'm up.
And they get the house.
I'm usually up. That's people are like, oh man, I didn't mean to text you so early in the morning. I'm like, I'm up. You ain't bothering me, I promise.
I remember my grandmother, as soon as the sun was just breaking the dawn, she was out there in the garden, working that garden. She said, I gotta get done before it get hot.
Oh yeah.
It's too hot. Yeah. And so she'd be out there and she'd be done by 6, 7 o'clock, back in the house, feed up and done. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Send your feedback to Troy at guidinggunspodcast.com or
Doug at guidinggunspodcast.com.
Please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/guidinggunspodcast. Subscribe and follow us on YouTube. And you can follow us on Twitter at Guiding Guns Pod. Search for us on Instagram and search for us on MeWe. I may be doing some gun trades here in a little bit. I have been shooting a little Taurus 22 revolver, 9-shot revolver I picked up on. I think I bought it from a friend around here. And it's a little tack driver. It's been a lot of fun. So I've been looking at the Smith & Wesson 10-shot. Was it the 617? It's the stainless steel 10-shot. So I may be selling a few and going over to Kentucky Gun Company and picking me up a new Smith & Wesson, because I haven't had Smith & Wesson in a long time. But I got a little bit lost there. Anyway, so website is guidinggunspodcast.com. Someone told me a couple of our links weren't working, but the store is working last time I checked. Some of the links going off of the site still a little screwy, so
a little squirrely.
I don't know what's going on there. But until next time, Doug, have a blessed week.
Hey, keep your guns close, but keep your Bible closer.
Good night, y'all.
Have a good night.
Thanks for watching. Participating.
Yep.
Tongue got in the way again. Night.